Welcome to the Casual Experience.
Hello casuals, you're welcome to the Casual Experience show, and we're here again to talk about the 314 that just wrapped up, featuring Alexander the Great and Diego Lopes. And I'm here with my guys, Onyedika and Elo.
Yes.
What's up, guys?
Yes.
Good man.
Good to see you again. Don't mind me, I will shake you first.
Have you been able to catch some rest?
Thank you. I was sleeping. I've been sleeping for a while, but I had to turn up here. Let's discuss this.
Yes.
Let's discuss
We have to go
this.
thank God for this one first, man.
Why do you say that?
The last time Volk was on his winning streak. That was before he fought Makachev and lost.
Yeah.
I was about writing an exam. It was a surgery exam.
Okay.
Since then, Volk has been on the losing skid till now. I'm currently doing my surgery posting. So it's kind of like a cyclic moment for me. I said, Monica, I go thank God.
Wow.
Do you
I'm
think
just joking
Volk
about that, but
is
yeah.
the greatest featherweight?
That was the first question. I wanted to ask that. Now, who is the GOAT of the featherweight now?
My Volk.
Forget that Ilya knocked him out.
Yeah,
This
Volk.
guy came back. He proved himself.
Ilya is not the GOAT, obviously. Like, of all time.
He didn't do a lot.
But Max,
Hey.
although he's supposedly the GOAT of the featherweight, but Volk now he's defended his belt 5 times, and now he's now 2 times
Two-time.
featherweight.
And how
champion
about
of the world.
all those records?
Although it was like on a 7
Fight win streak.
win streak.
But Max
How many time champion?
times?
Did he win?
No, just once. Aldo.
But Max beats Aldo how many times?
Twice.
Twice.
One in Brazil, one in US.
So there's an argument that
And
Max is
Volkanovski
also,
beat-
is also in that list,
That's
Yeah.
better.
in that talk, that conversation. But Volk has beat Max 3 times.
Yeah.
And he's coming back, come on.
And this it was just a vintage Volk.
Yeah.
Like it was. What won him the fight, in my opinion,
Textbook Volk.
was the fight IQ that we
Yeah.
know that he has.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at the stats. Diego seemed to have obviously have a longer reach than him, and he could do nothing about Volk's jab.
Yeah. Volk is that kind of he's a smart fighter. I won't lie. Let me publicly say this. I doubted Volk.
You picked against him.
No, not really. I just said that.
They all doubted me. They all
Volk-
counted me out.
Right now, all these younger guys are hungry. But I won't lie, as much as Volk looked good, he also looked like. So I'm wondering, what do you think? Let me ask this question to both of you.
Yeah.
Do you think that Volk just stopped Diego Lopes, or Diego Lopes was shy? Because go to his previous fights, Lopes, he's a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
But I feel he was too patient with Volk. I feel he wasn't throwing as much as he could. It could either be that Volk was stopping everything, or it could be that he was. What do you think?
I'll start from a build up which I started in our last episode, which was about Diego Lopes being a very reactive fighter.
Yeah.
He's the kind of person that he waits for your shot
For you
and
to
then
hit him.
yes, and then he follows up with very good counters. Now on his own, I noticed that from his tapes, he doesn't set up those combinations on his own until you reach. Yeah. And it kind of makes sense because he kind of like maps you out. So once you jab, he already knows where you are going to be for every step when you try to evade. So he chose his combinations in that light. Now Volkanovski must have known this already. I mean, from the way he was always reaching for his jab, and Volk has the shorter reach. Every time he jabbed into what was his name?
Diego.
Into Diego. Diego could not complete those combinations.
Yes.
Like he threw the combinations, but he was always missing.
Do you know what Volk was
always
doing
missing.
differently too?
Yeah.
When I was watching the fight, what kept coming to my mind was what you said in the preview about him being reactive.
Yes.
And Volk had already studied him well.
Yeah.
Whenever he jabbed him, he knew he was going to react. What he did next was grapple him. He was not necessarily for the takedown. He just held on to him.
Yes.
How many takedowns did
That was a very
Lopes
good
try?
observation.
He didn't try any.
So can you see what I mean? But I don't think he was motivated. This was This was your first title fight. Wouldn't you be a little bit hungrier?
Yeah.
In my opinion, I also feel that as much as great as Volk looked that day, yesterday, last night, which he did, he looked amazing. I also feel Lopes wasn't hungry enough at that moment.
When he goes back to look at his fights, you
disappointed
feel
in
that
himself.
he should have
Done better.
Yeah.
especially given what he did in the 4th round and the 5th round when he gave Volk the uppercut and made Volk start moving backwards.
Yeah.
Subconsciously he might have been feeling that this is a five round fight.
Yeah.
My first 5 round fight. Don't let me put on
I
the
don't think he
pedal
has
on
gone
the
beyond
gas.
2 rounds.
Yes, and you know when it's a 5 round, fighters have not been in 5 rounds seem to kind of
Be shy.
mellow their tune to see. If you're talking about being gun shy, what would you say about Pitbull? Rodriguez?
Too much experience.
Like that was unusual of Pitbull. He just held on and he couldn't.
But
The
you know
lights were
that-
bigger, man.
Yeah.
The lights were bigger. The lights were bigger.
The UFC stage
The lights
is
were bigger.
just.
But look at
It
those,
wasn't
look
his
at
fault.
Rodriguez kicks.
Come on.
Don't you think that those kicks, if you, like, look at John Jones. John Jones knows how to manage distance super well because of his kicks.
Yeah.
Aside the fact that Rodriguez's kicks were super
counter
and
kicks
deadly,
too.
he used it to manage the reach very well.
Yes.
He made it a very difficult fight.
That guy was
for
looking for a
people to
finish.
come. Yes, he
He
was.
wanted to finish. He wanted to finish
He
Pitbull.
needed to make a statement.
Even though that Pitbull is tough. But now, how do you see the matchmaking? First of all, Volk, how long do you see his reign? This second tenor reign. What
doubted
are
it
the
before, I'm
contenders?
not sure. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem. The only people that seem to have his number is Ilya, who's gone up, and Islam, who is not in his weight class. Every other person.
Yeah. Who are possible contenders for Volk now? Do you know what the list is right
The
now?
rankings,
The
right?
ranking, right, yeah.
Okay. For featherweight, is Ilya's vacated, so is Volk number 1,
Yeah.
Holloway number 2, Diego Lopes number 3, Eve Love, Musva.
Yeah, he called him out, and he said
He called him
Yeah,
out.
said and he's ready to fight him in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you guys, in that main card, what was your fight of the night? Like, what fight piqued your fancy?
I think we made our predictions in the last episode. But
I'm trying to rejiggle your memory, so I'm sure when I'm saying it, the fight will play in your head. Krylov Reyes, when
That was a fight.
the back movement knockout. That's one.
McGregor, classic McGregor.
Yes, Bright
swear,
Bright
that's
Mittel,
tough
John
John
Silva
Silva.
with the ninja choke. A non-striker
that was
choking out
nasty.
the grappler. That's 2. 3. You are Rodriguez Pitbull, Chandler
Paddy
Paddy,
the Baddy.
and
Paddy the Baddy.
but fight of the night they gave Alex Volk, and then the performance of the night they gave Pimblett.
Yeah, nice. But don't you think Reyes also deserves?
Man.
Reyes' performance,
John
do
Silva,
you know,
man.
he made me feel like this is the guy that beats John Jones.
Yes.
This guy, and this guy will rematch Yuri and will give Yuri a tough fight. If
Yes,
not,
you give you a tough fight. I would love to see that
See,
fight.
I would love to see that fight.
see that fight.
Yes, rematch.
so now there's the probability of a rematch
Yes.
because he's back into the
Yes.
Yes.
It's only Carlos and Yuri I'm saying that his co
Yeah, we should see that fight again. We should dare see that fight
you
again.
could call this card the card of adversity, because what Volk said
Everybody
in the sports,
came back.
in the sports fight speech was adversity is a privilege.
Yes.
It's a privilege. I've never heard that kind of thing before.
That's another reason why I started out with that thing I told you.
Yes.
Adversity is a privilege.
Adversity is a
You see,
privilege.
every time I was able to turn up for an episode here, notice how I was always fully dressed from work. Those are the little times I was able to squeeze out.
Yeah.
I've been facing so much adversity at work, but not from people anyway, but like because of how the workload has been.
Yeah.
But man, I won't lie to you. It's just like better days I'm seeing from there because of the number of days and hours I have stacked up doing all of that.
Yeah.
Same thing with Volk. So it's like
and Reyes too.
Reyes, yeah.
Rogan said you're back. He said
You're
no.
back, like, yeah.
He said no.
It's so good to
not
be back,
better.
man.
No, he said I'm better.
And better, yeah.
I think it was Josh in the watch party as Reyes was fighting. I said, why is Reyes sharp like this? Then he just said, just in the fight. I said, it's like Reyes is back. Oh, he said, no, Reyes is better.
It's better.
So immediately Reyes said that. I just shook Josh. I just said,
If Josh were here, then you take this belt.
Krylov has never been knocked out in the UFC.
But he did it easy.
He did it like that
Easy.
was first round knockout.
Easy.
And he was moving backwards.
You know,
From the first punch he wobbled him.
So
to generate
so we said
power.
about telegraphing people's moves and being able to counter in the moment.
And in the watch party we said something like it's just the same mirror image of Conor Aldo.
See, look at
It
that
was the
punch.
same thing. He was just
the backward
reaching
step
out
with the counter.
in touch
Yes. No, come on, that was beautiful. See,
Guy
if you
just
notice,
clipped him very fast.
from the first punch Dominic Reyes landed, he was first. I noticed he was locked in.
Yeah.
Number two, I saw his timing. His
getting his
counter
timing
was
back, yeah.
extreme.
That's
So
true.
as soon as this guy and it was hard, and from the first punch, Krylov got wobbled.
Yeah.
So it already made me know that okay, Reyes is ready. Second punch wobbled him again. He never take. It was not so long, man, and we got the knockout. It was beautiful. That was beautiful. I would say that would maybe I'll say top two. I don't know which is higher right now. Then the second one will be Paddy and Chandler.
Yeah.
For me, I love that fight. What do you think about that fight?
It was a splendid performance by
Paddy made a
Reyes.
statement.
Who is that?
Paddy made a statement.
Yeah, I'm like, would get to that?
Okay, let's
because
do
we
Reyes
have
first.
we're building it up.
Okay, nice. I love the strategy.
So what like you were asking now?
Yeah.
I feel it was a great performance by Reyes, and now he can only look upwards.
Yeah.
You know, in his recent losses, they've been feeding him fighters downwards, and you feel like, man, his race done.
Yeah.
And you can't just not but be happy for him.
Yeah, no, I love
like knowing that this guy that arguably beat
He beat John
Jones. And then all of a sudden he was just going downwards, and there is a trend that like after you
The
face,
John Jones course.
yes, after you face John Jones you can never come back. And it's like a movie. Someone that faced adversity started the card, and someone that has faced adversity ended the card.
And ended it well.
It was just a great performance. But Bryce Mitchell, is it that he's all mouth and no back? He's all back and no bite.
No, see,
He did all he could, right?
He was scared.
That particular
Bryce?
dog.
He was scared.
That particular dog he faced
Yes.
is one of those dogs that, at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, you see the dog walking away with blood on his teeth, with the farm scattered.
Silva is a
That was Silva.
Would you have
I kept
thought?
saying this.
Silva was
He's a
Silva. No,
psychopath.
Silva.
He loves to do it. See, do you know?
See how excited? Joe Rogan said something like, "I've never seen someone excited." No, it wasn't Joe Rogan. It was DC. He was like, "I've never seen someone excited
to fight."
To fight.
Yes.
That even when I was fighting, I wasn't excited.
I wasn't so excited.
When I'm coming out, he's here. He was just jumping about, shaking everybody before the fight.
Silva, did you ever hear the story that he almost killed himself 2 days before he got his UFC contract?
Oh wow! I didn't hear.
It was so he has a lot of backstory.
That guy,
it was Mauricio
Rufi
that took him. Say how far. Connected
and you could see the team when he won. The way they ran.
Even before he walked in, I think if you remember, we're talking about it now. Before he walked in for his fight, I was like, look how connected this guy is with his whole camp.
Yes.
Look at the energy he's drawing from his camp.
Saved him, man. Fight saved him.
You see people like that. See people that have broken that limit of mental barriers, and they were able to survive those very low moments or very, very low moments after high moments of their lives, and they come back. Especially in the field of sports, from what I've seen, they come back and they are completely different. When I say completely different, let's say they could feel this. Let's say this could affect them. This strike could affect them. It will have to take 3 times this for them to feel the mental pain. And pain is very mental. If I were to give you if I were to numb this area, you wouldn't feel whatever I strike there. That's because I've numbed the receptors.
It's like a callus. A callus on your hand. Let's say you bruise your hand now. Let's say you buy a new shoe that is too tight and it bruises your leg now. It might injure you for a while, but after the skin gets stronger, you never
it
get that
hard,
issue.
and you don't feel that kind of pain you felt the first time.
Every single time when I started kicking used to pain me so much, but I had to learn.
You know David at the gym. David Ohis. One of the tall guys that mainly does.
David.
The first time I went to TMA, we sat. I spent the night. The first day I was there. That was when Shex won his fight against that Cote d'Ivoire.
We were together now. Then
I left him. I went to Dagestan and forgot for 6 months.
I follow them. I follow them to train. Sorry.
That's for the other day though. So we woke up and then we're sitting on the tire warming up for the workout, and then this guy just got a short metal, stretched his leg, and king was just hitting his shin. I was like, what are you doing? The moment I saw it, the moment I saw it, the whole stuff made sense in my head. But I now had to ask him to be like, I hope you know what you are doing. And he said it makes the shin stronger. And he said, well done, sir.
Yeah, but this fighting nets, like their team, is like they are the go-to team now. Like, I don't understand. Like, their strikers, most of them, all of them seem to be strikers. But
Their bodies are tanks.
have problem, like grapplers and wrestlers seem to have problem with them. Either not being able to take them down.
They're smart.
They've evolved, kinda.
Yes, they have evolved.
You see this fight.
That's the thing I was telling you about them picking. Once they come back, see, it's just like telling somebody, go and do this. It's like me telling Halo, go and punch Tobi. Now, Tobi, you know that yes, Halo they come punch you, but there's one thing that Halo is coming to punch you, and there's another thing that Halo is coming to deliver an instruction to punch you.
Because so
one is of his will.
Are you saying it's
and
leadership? Or
volition.
what are you talking about there? Is
I
it
mean,
leadership?
the fighting nets. What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to understand this point.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is these guys, first of all, if you notice, they are very strong.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, wrestlers find it very difficult to take them down. Strikers find it very, very difficult to match with them.
Yeah.
And one thing that you notice with them is they are very strong. That's the first thing.
For me, what I'll say is, you see the name Fighting Nerds. It's not
I'm
just.
still using them, but I get where they try come from about the IQ part of it, but
Yes, so aside the fact that they are very strong,
Yes.
I believe that they're also super smart.
Yes.
Have you listened to Kayo Borago talk about fights?
Yes.
Hello.
It sounds like
let me still on this point, but see somebody like John Jones, who is like the epitome of strength and IQ.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the pioneer of fighting nerds. Him, Demetrius Johnson. These are people that are pure on IQ but are very strong. That's the thing. Your IQ bar only has such a limit if you are not strong enough.
And that thing I think that bonds them together and makes them thrive is their togetherness. You can see it beyond outside the
it's like
cage.
the pack of
It's just
wolves.
like when just like when Volk is fighting or Ubek is fighting. The way Easy is always vested in it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. There's a kind of unseen energy, however it is, that he gives, whether they call it vibe, whether they call it energy, but knowing that
It's contagious.
Yes.
Energy is contagious.
even though you are the only one entering the cage,
energy is contagious.
you know that
Yeah, together.
you've done
So
this.
They've trained. This is a product of what they did behind closed doors.
Yeah.
They've bonded. This is a brotherhood. This guy has fought me to the best of his abilities just so that I'll be prepared for this night.
Yes.
So knowing that we've worked for months, every day I made sure I gave you my all just so that you'll be better. There's a bond that you know that this person cares for me and he believes in me. And for me, anytime I spar, I notice that when I have nobody really watching me and when I have somebody that I feel I might want to prove a point, it's two different things.
Yeah.
So that is a thing. So that's why I'm also sure that if you ever go to fight, I've never had the opportunity to fight in a cage of thousands of people. I'm sure that will play a very great role when there are people supporting you. Folk, calling your name.
Yes.
There's a motivation he gives.
Yes. And in his post-fight speech, to answer what you said, he made mention of everything that he does in the cage. Everything has been studied. That the ninja choke wasn't just that he saw the opportunity. That it was what they planned. They knew that Bryce will be shooting. He has a tendency of always shooting towards his left when he sees a punch. And they practice the ninja choke thousands of times, even to his post-fight speech. He said him and his coach practiced his post-fight speech. That because left to him, that all what he said was practice. Because left to him, all he wants to do is just back all through and then leave the cage. And he also said something exciting. That guy is so exciting person. Because he said when he was leaving, Dana White and Sean Shelby told him that big things are coming to him, and when you hear that from the UFC brass, know that they are ready to carry you to the moon and back. He now asked for one more thing. He said he wants to have his wedding soon, and he wants Dana White to be his best man. The only way he would allow Dana White to be his best man is if Dana White, there is a Brazilian particular popular singer that he wants to invite. I think maybe he doesn't have the bar to invite him. That if Dana White pays for
then he's free.
And when they ask Dana White, Dana White likes gambling in his head and all. Like, we'll figure it out.
We'll find a way.
Do you think that guy is like 2 fights away from a title shot?
Sorry,
What's he ranked?
He's sellable, isn't
What's
he?
he ranked?
I beg, remind me. What weight class?
No, whatever.
It's lightweight.
Lightweight.
Yes.
So lightweight. Lightweight is the hot. That's Islam now.
Yes,
That's
Islam.
like
Yes.
But do you
Three
think?
fights away,
I'm
man.
trying to imagine.
Islam
Him,
choke-
imagine him
calm down.
versus Islam. Do you think there's a chance?
Wow.
His
think there's a
strength.
chance?
His strength.
Because even both
is the factor.
mutually
yeah, but
fought, it's outside the top
Islam is
15.
too strong,
Yeah,
and he doesn't
okay.
show
It's
it.
outside the top 15. So,
there's still contention outside.
bro,
So there's still plenty.
he has
people.
Benamundes,
Yeah.
Dawson,
Yeah.
Benoit,
Yeah.
Fiziev,
Where you want me to-
Moicano, Dariush,
mentioning people.
Gamrot.
But he can beat all those people. He's
can
from
beat Dariush.
Fiziev, from Moicano.
This Benamundes is a bad man. In Nashville, have you seen him fight? Anyway, UFC, they are so smart. I don't think they will put two prospects against each other right at the lower end of the fight.
business needs numbers, they will sacrifice their
Unless you're
potential.
trying to say that Ian Gary is not more a
Sacrifice their
prospect,
potential.
but he put two prospects together. Unless he lost his
You mean him
prospectship.
and Gary and Pratis?
Pratis.
Because
There are two prospects.
Yeah, Jeff Neal
Yeah.
got injured,
Yeah.
and Gary, we used to think him as someone that is not up to the task, but he's shown that in his loss to Shafkat and in deciding to take on this fight.
So Kevin Holland already took this fight. They asked Kevin Holland for this fight against Pratis, and he said, "Oh yeah, now." Then they now also they
asked
always
Gary,
reach multiple.
yes.
Yeah. But when they thought Gary won't accept. As Gary accepted, they said, "No, this is a bigger fight."
Yes, and do you know that's what's
Kevin
making
Holland.
that's what people fans generally they like. There's some fighters that they just feel that they are goofy and don't tend to like.
Yeah.
That was Ian Gary coming up.
Yeah.
I feel now because of
Yes,
what
respect.
he is exactly among the casual fans, and they are beginning to see that this guy is a fighter. Forget all the things he talk. Forget him collecting his missus name as his name. I mean, he got married to a woman and became the woman's son name. I mean, all those kind of things make he turns you out. Yes, not even to the average person. You feel like what's this guy made of? And then his wife's ex is one of his training partners. The person is wife.
See, I don't like to judge people in their relationship.
Judge or no judge, it's not just a weird cycle.
First, because at the end of the day, you're a public figure. So
but public figures have the craziest relationship activity.
Yes.
So I try not to even concern myself with all those things. For me, I see that at least he's respectful. He's very respectful to Charles Oliveira, to religions, to cultures, to all those kind. He's this kind of person that's open, and people hated him. I agree. I didn't also know why.
He pushed it too far with Jeff Neal. Was New Magni now?
I can't remember.
There was a fight that
You mean my
Yangari? Yes, I have to get that thing off my chest. He was being too mean to New Magni for no reason.
But
saying New Magni was beating his son and all those kind of things.
Yeah, you were just trying to sell the fight and just trying to get himself.
He was trying to be honest. He was trying to be honest. To my camp.
He was trying to be honest with that thing.
Yeah, guys. So Rodriguez and Patricio Pitbull. I don't think we have a lot of things to talk about there. Except like Rodriguez just styled on him and made him know that
should have come 3 years ago.
and just made him know that wow, you are in another space.
He and Chandler should fight
because but now Rodriguez now.
Yeah.
What do you think is up for him? Remember him and
give him Lopes.
That's what I was. They had a
give him Lopes.
They had something
and he lost.
going on.
Lopes
Noche is coming up. UFC Noche has been announced now. Yes, it's coming up. Let's set that fight. Build it.
Him and Diego Lopes.
That makes sense.
Because there is a big animosity between them.
Where's the camera?
And I feel
the camera
it's cut. And I feel
Dana White. Book that fight. UFC Noche, Diego Lopes and Yair Rodriguez. Do it for the fans. Do it for everybody.
And this might be the podcast that Dana White might actually listen. So
what's up, everybody?
Dana is a great guy. Did you see the interviewer that shot his shot too and said that he wants to be an interviewer?
Yes.
So
and he's a young guy too that wanted to be a fighter, and he was like, "Are you that good?"
He gives the
opportunity. Let's see you at the PI. He's when he's in good mood. When Dana White,
See, Dana is a businessman. Don't waste his time.
His mood can be be tricky.
Yeah.
Just know the right time.
Yeah.
When he's in nasty mood, even he doesn't care about the reporters. He says whatever.
What I feel also is that he also looks at you. What investment have you made to ask him this?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of money to see Dana White.
Yeah.
So for you to be inside that building, you spent money. You have paid UFC already.
Yes.
Paid your dues
You have
somewhere.
paid your
So how
dues,
good that-
and you're also
Yeah.
bold enough
Yeah.
to ask me for a request publicly.
Remember when was it Gaethje that
Right
asked him?
respect.
Well, I think it was UFC 300 and said the bonuses should be 300,000 each.
Yeah.
Just like it was Bobby Green, Gaethje, and it was like
exactly, not that he can't do it. That's why all these things that people be writing about fighter pay.
Babano said all that.
See,
Now, he knows what they are doing now.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Someone will want to take over boxing. He
when
already
he
bought
when he bought UFC, all he got back was the name and an octagon.
It's just like the man is just like this fight we want to talk about. Paddy.
Yeah,
You know,
Paddy.
Paddy. What drives him is just messing up haters.
Yeah.
Like disappointing haters.
Yeah.
Since he got to the UFC,
Yeah.
every of his post-fight speech has always been. Now tell me what would you say now?
Yeah.
What would you say now?
Tell me,
Yes.
tell me what you want to say now.
What fuels his fire is not his own improvement or trying to get the title. It's the fact that everybody said he wasn't going to be ranked.
Yeah.
He got ranked. It was the fact that people said he wasn't going to get to the top 10 rank. He's got there.
And he beat them.
Is the fact that he said he would be found out in his fight in UFC and he's still undefeated. See, he called Aman Sayuken an helmet. I don't know what that means in the Liverpool. He called him an helmet. He called the haters
Sausages.
Hermits.
Yeah.
Hermits.
Yeah.
Helmet. He said helmet.
Okay.
Helmet. I don't know what that has to do.
Oh, you think it's hermit?
Yes.
It wasn't helmet. No, I think it's an helmet. He said.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Sometimes
He said that
Paddy
posh
talks,
boy.
Sometimes how Paddy talks, people is like when he says Scousers don't get knocked
No,
out.
that- yeah.
Some people said he says Sorcerers don't get knocked out. But sometimes so Max Holloway said he says Sorcerers. But I think is that he did not hear what Paddy said.
Yeah.
You
So
watch football.
is this hermit and
You watch
helmet? No.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about
Fight.
No, it's because the accent. Someone's accent. Jamie Carragher. He's Scouser.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
What are
No, if you don't
Scousers? Do you know?
Liverpoolians.
That's why I asked. I wasn't trying to bring
Liverpoolians.
football into this.
Okay.
Liverpoolians, yes. And
Yeah,
he called
Merseyside, yeah,
yes,
from Merseyside.
Merseyside. He called everyone that doubted him. He called him in the fans. He said, "You gangs of mushroom." He called out Gaethje. But one thing I noticed, even on our page, that seems to be thriving now, was Dustin Poirier's approval of his fight, even his workout. If you check our page, you saw when Dustin Poirier was doing it was backstage. Dustin Poirier was part of the media. They bring out fighters to be part of their media crew. So when it was coming out, everybody was doing the Paddy dance. Was doing the Paddy dance. Even Diego Lopes, when he was coming out, he did that. It's more like
when Chandler they gave him mic, he was saying, "Oh, Paddy,
Paddy." Yes, it looks
Everybody loves him.
it looks like the Donald Trump kind of goofy dance. And you see Dustin Poirier, when he was looking around, he just looked back at the camera and I was like, man, the fans love this guy.
Superstar.
The fans love the guy. And it's hard to impress Dustin Poirier. And when they finished the fight, Dustin Poirier too approved on him. Now he called out Gaethje, he called out Oliveira.
I mean, he beat Chandler now. The one that
He beat Chandler. I know why now. You know everybody doesn't like Chandler.
He fucking hate
He beat the
Chandler.
guy.
And he beat nonsense.
So they're happy, they approve.
But why did they make the fight? Why did they make the fight a 5-round fight?
So that they go beat up
They have
properly.
enough time. No, not really.
I'm just joking, man.
But they want enough time. Some fights you need to. It's like Kamzat and Usman. Imagine that fight was a 5 round.
Was it 5 rounds? Yeah.
It was a 3-round fight.
Yeah, it was a
Imagine
3-round.
that was a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
The things
Usman
change.
would have.
So I feel in retrospect, UFC would have said maybe we should have made that a 5-round fight. So Paddy and Chandler, give them enough time. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
These are guys that they're high in ranks right now.
Yeah.
So let's.
And he made a mention
On the
that
stardom level
aside John Jones, he doesn't feel anybody or anybody's team studies as much as his own team. That Pimblett, and that like everything that he does, and if you look at it, his fight too, you would acknowledge that he seems to be well culturally trained, like in the basics. His grappling is out of this world. Leave his grappling. He has his grappling in his back pocket.
I like what you said about being culturally trained. I really think that that guy is being geared up to fight Conor McGregor.
Do you know Conor better against him? 500k,
which makes
he vexed.
He was angry. Why would you? At least the Irish. This thing you give us.
No, Conor was intentional about that. Now
they will take this.
Irish
fight
and UK. They do the.
They will take this fight to UK. They will take this fight to UK.
Can Conor win any ranked fighter in the UFC?
Conor McGregor is not coming back. He's not coming back. Don't even say that. I don't think he's not coming back.
Stand any fighter again. How? Fight two. He can only fight all these brand guys, boxer and YouTubers and
that's the brand guy.
No, not as heavy.
They won't give it to him.
Jake Paul.
Marvin Hagler always says he said that it's not easy when you to wake up at 5 o'clock to when you are sleeping in silk sheets. That's exactly what happened to Conor.
How did Volkanovski come back to win this fight?
He has. Now you have the fighters at art, and you have the ones that get swayed by. Conor's been swayed since let's be truthful about it. Since the Floyd Mayweather fight.
Things that these are say, but the kind of things that makes that guy to actually come back. That's why I believe
Conor.
I don't believe in Conor to the point to say that he will come back. But it's because of this kind of
if he comes back, Conor will come back. If he comes back, the UFC is going to be making him come back for the money, and it will be like more like an exhibition fight. It will be like a fight like
UFC will not do that.
It will be like a Nadia's Masvidal fight kind of fight. That's the kind of fight that they will give him.
Did you guys
Conor right now is not even in top 15.
Did you guys hear that Conor was running for office in Ireland?
Yes.
So somebody that is thinking of all those kind of things, do you think he'll come back to fight? Bro, you
know what it is to go to training and all that now.
You know what training is, bro. You know the commitment.
Yes.
There was a question you asked me one day that helped me. Just here, please.
You know,
and it's you that asked this
money
question.
Will
just
leverage
here,
everything for you.
Just
to buy you time.
Just here, so hear this. Just hear this.
Whatever you want to
I'll say just
and have
this.
Whatever you want
because
to
it even came from your mouth.
Okay.
There was a time I was always training. Now I don't train as much. There was a time I was always training, and so I was gisting him about how much I was always training. And few people asked me, say, are you a professional fighter? Do you want to be a professional fighter? So and it kind of feels somehow in my head. It's an annoying question for me, because
if you carry and go street now,
the truth is I'm not a professional fighter. I'm not going into cages to get money to be paid. But I love fighting. I love training all the time. I think Conor is in a point now. He loves training and he still loves the whole fighting thing. But there are a lot more things in his life now that cannot afford him to be a professional fighter, because you have to make that decision. To be a professional fighter, bro, you have to be extremely dedicated. The moment you do not have that dedication, you will lose. You will lose to people you never thought you could ever lose to. You know how dangerous this fighting game is. It's not a game. It's a dangerous
I don't even think there's something interesting that came up in the backstage when Pimblett was having his post-fight. Kobe Covington, him and Kobe Covington had an encounter. Like they literally.
Sorry, who and Kobe?
Paddy and Kobe.
Okay, I saw it.
Kobe. So don't you think that can be a matchup?
I beg.
So wait, is Kobe now not in the category of Conor that you're talking about?
No, he's not. He's not as watched as Conor. And
Kobe is still training.
Yes, you still see him around.
You are just yourselves right now.
I just intentionally.
When you say me, please, I said okay. I'll catch you now.
It was Kobe. You still see. He even
cannot win if cannot.
Right now, you can say Kobe is more active. Is more active than Conor.
Yes.
Like if you had to put both of them beside each other, who is prepared?
Kobe fought Buckley now.
Yeah. Who do you think?
And he didn't look bad against.
Who do you think can be prepared?
Buckley beat him.
In the next 3 months, who do you think can be prepared to fight? Can Conor be prepared to fight in the next 2-3 months? Can Conor be prepared to fight in the next 2-3 months?
No, it's 6
Yeah.
months.
So Kobe still has chances of fighting.
So
this
it's not
year.
I don't understand. Are you comparing Conor and Kobe?
Now we are saying
I want to understand.
we're giving matchups
yes.
for Pimblett. You mentioned
if Pimblett is going to have to fight Conor, Pimblett will wait.
No,
it's Pimblett that will wait.
Why you say
that's because it's Conor.
There's no way they.
No, it's the truth, Toby. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
Wait, say what you're saying. I want to understand.
There's no way. What I'm trying to get off your mind is don't put two of them to fight together. That fight matchup isn't what we're even supposed to be talking about. If you're making fight matchups,
no.
If you're making fight matchups, I told you now. This is it. I told you Pimblett called out Aman. I told you he called out Oliveira. I told you he called out Gaethje. I told you Dustin was approving of his fight. And I told you him and Kobe had an encounter at the backstage. Why are you putting Conor in the consequence here?
No, Conor came in since now.
No, you were the one that was mentioning Conor in it. Like they don't have any.
Let's remove Conor.
Exactly. They don't even put Conor in the conversation. Leave Conor and his name out of Pimblett.
No, let me remind you. Let me remind you, okay? Fine, we are building up from here now. But the reason why Conor came into this was because we're talking about stardom fights because of Pimblett and Chandler.
But
I'm only reminding you where it came into. So we're done with that.
Because you keep mentioning Conor, like
that's where it came from. Now
our initial conversation is like we are trying to find a matchup for Paddy.
So who is the best matchup?
Contemporary.
Who's the best matchup? Who's the best matchup?
The one that makes sense most.
Yes.
The one that makes sense most. I believe that this boy is only one fight away from the title. Pimblett. Pimblett is only one fight away from the title. Now, him beating Chandler, for me, he cannot fight Poirier right now because Poirier.
He's going to be number 8
in the rankings.
Yes.
Is he 8 or 7? Was it Chandler 7?
8. Chandler was 8.
Look at the number. Look at the people in between him now. But you know Holloway is currently ranked there too. But he and Poirier now are out because they're going to fight for the BMF in about 3 months' time. So they're out of the equation.
Chandler is 7. Yes, 7.
Good. Chandler is out of it. You understand? Chandler is out of it.
So now in his weight class, the only people above him now is Danuka, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, and Oliveira and Aman Sarukian.
Do you see a fight with Danuka?
Aman Sarukian.
Yes, I feel it's Sarukian.
And he called out every one of them.
Sarukian and Topuria are the two people I want to see Paddy Pimblett.
Now there is
Sarukian.
Even though they are not in the same weight class, there is a higher chance of the UFC matchmaking Pimblett and Kobe in welterweight
because of that small.
Because
they hate each other.
Yes, because in fact in the past he said one yes now he said one person he didn't mention was Ilya. You know they have their own thing too. He would have said it if you had remembered. He would have just said it for saying it.
No,
he would have said it for
he's saying it because he now sees the gap. Ilya was higher than him because Ilya was a champion. Now Ilya is nobody in there, so he doesn't want to give Ilya light.
That's another very good
by
angle.
removing Ilya out of the conversation.
Yes. So now, how about Chandler that is on a 4 fights losing streak now?
Fight Pitbull at the catch weight.
Someone was saying, I saw a joke that in the future you see after Chandler loses in a prelim. He will now start calling Conor out. So inside the joke was that means Chandler will just keep going back. So he will now become a prelim fighter.
With the UFC cutting.
After a while, if he keeps losing, I think if he loses,
if your gimmick, but see, he's actually delivering entertaining fight.
But
I never saw Pimblett being this exciting. I won't lie to you. I never saw Pimblett being this exciting and people sharing this much because it beat Chandler. People like that.
So, but it's because they don't like but
and Chandler is also
how exciting was he in this fight? It was Pimblett that was.
He really exciting. He was in one place for Paddy to show his skills in. But
he was just showing
heart and courage. See, his heart and courage, but Paddy was sharp.
Yeah. Did you see the knee in the third
Paddy
round?
was sharp.
When he timed the knee, he knew he was going to come
I
and
love
shoot for the
flying
tag
knees. I
down.
wonder why a lot of fighters.
That was what
don't
tore
fly.
him up now.
One thing I had to learn early.
Conditioning is not
I had
easy.
no, yes, but you can train yourself. But I love flying knee because it's a secret weapon that
easy,
you
bro.
might not even show in plenty fights, but in the perfect timing, that can end you too many fights.
Yeah.
So him see the timing was just beautiful. I love anytime I see it.
And you saw the
Yeah,
reaction. You saw the reaction that it was it was a real damage. Like you could see the reaction after that knee. You have to what?
To be in flow.
Okay, yeah.
Execute that
I swear,
properly.
your mind, you need to already be in the flow because to understand the timing of, yes, I agree. You have to.
Such a split
I love
second.
For the main fight now that Volk now is a two-time featherweight champion. Who do you think they give him now? You know he's going to be. You know he's going to be active. He's going to be active. He's going to be an active champion.
Against someone that he has not fought.
Like
So Evlov, Musba is still.
He's not fought Evlov, right?
Yes. So now let's think about that.
his ego, he might call
Can
out Topuria.
Evlov is a wrestler.
His ego, no, his ego, he might just call out Topuria.
But can Evlov submit Volk? Because that's the only way he can win. Volk.
If Islam could try for 5 rounds,
And couldn't.
I had to
Volk
knock
has
him
said
out.
that nobody can submit him.
How about this guy, Leron Murphy? That guy that looks like Leonid was, that fight like Leonid was. Leron Murphy that fought last week.
This guy that knocked out
He fought last
Michel.
week. He fought Josh Emmett last week. Yeah.
Josh Emmett, yeah.
You think he's far off?
Because of that knockout.
That's it.
You think he's far off?
I don't think that Leron Murphy can beat Volk.
Bro, in a appropriate world,
Yes.
if Volk fights Evlov
Yeah.
and wins, and let's say Ilya goes up and fights Islam and wins Islam. So whose belt will be on the line? Volk as a featherweight champion, Islam as a lightweight, Ilya as a lightweight champion.
He's always the higher belt.
Ilya.
So Volk would now try attempting to be a
Double champ
again.
And that's what
higher-
interesting. Imagine Volk taking everything.
But you know, Ilya will always want something to
Also,
put just the same way
yes,
he told
he
Max
wants
to
to have something at
put his
stake.
BMF. You know, Ilya is more or less BMF right now, even without us knowing.
He's very young and smart. He knows that I cannot come here to just lose everything.
Yes, now he
let
can't
me
just
also put something at stake.
Put something at stake. If I win you, I'm the featherweight and the lightweight champion. If you win, but how difficult would that be?
It's
No.
Because they're not going to be fighting at featherweight.
Do you think Volk can ever beat Ilya?
yes.
He looked very sharp, but remember Ilya's knockout power. You also remember that this guy got clean punches on Volk, Diego Lopes.
Yes.
There was a time I was scared.
Yeah, but do you think? For me, Ilya has power, but he's not even the most powerful in that featherweight. Josh Emmett
Ilya
is the most
sets it up
powerful.
so well.
But he knows how
Ilya
to.
sets it up so well.
Yes, his
Ilya-
timing and accuracy.
Yeah,
is
see,
something else.
I look at
It's not a joke that he's the best
his
boxer,
principle.
man.
Yeah,
It's not a
now,
joke.
you see this
It's not a
best boxer
joke.
thing,
Even his stance.
boxing is with the techniques, the fundamentals, the precision you need to have in
You have to
boxing.
be
but
better than your opponent at every second.
A little fulcrum you add to your punch can give you 3 times the power, can give you 2 times the power. You can see somebody throw a hook and Ilya
He's
throw
just coming from the shoulder.
You
know that
I
Ilya's
look
is
at
coming
his
from the
technique.
lats. It's coming
He
from his
adds
back.
so much more power. So it's not just
His serratus, his lats are all
Ilya
engaged.
is a principled boxer. That's
Very.
the
His
difference.
hook is a hook.
They don't know how principled, how much is studying.
And that's why him and the Islam's fight is intriguing, because regardless, he has a chance.
Yes, he has
he's a
a
fighter
chance.
that has a chance.
Yes.
He doesn't have a chance to carry Islam, take him to Khabib and submit him. He doesn't have that. I will not believe.
You know what's interesting about a fighter like Ilya Topuria? Ilya Topuria, from what I'm seeing, he's not here to use the best stylistic styles to win fights. He's here to say, I am here to win at all costs. And if I have the chance, I would rather want to win my way.
Yes.
And so far, the boy has been winning his way.
And he has been proving it.
Do you
But I
understand?
won't just believe this one.
No, do you know why? I'm not saying I believe it, but I see why he's saying it.
Yeah, no,
To
I
him,
agree.
if he fights Islam Makhachev, it's not so much of a win if his hand is raised. It's more of a
How
win
he
if
wins.
thank you. It's
how
more
he
of a
wins.
win if he can convince the camp and everything that his
Way
opponent
better
stands for. That I
Islam's
am
fights-
better than you.
Islam, both of them are finishers, so I don't even reckon the fight going to decisions
cannot
or anything.
end.
It's
It
going
cannot
to be.
You go to what?
Both of them are going to finish.
She's
one
the
or
ref. See,
other.
but
That was sure.
the worst person, the potential worst person on the night that day might be the referee if he does not stop that fight at the right time.
Yes, because even these fights, we had a lot of eye pokes.
Yeah.
Alex was giving eye pokes. We had late decision, late stoppage and early stoppage.
stoppage.
The early
Bryce's stoppage was late.
Dan Ige's
scary,
Dan Ige's own was early.
Him
Are
and
you
Woodson.
serious?
Yes, Dan Ige's stoppage was early.
Okay,
And
I have a question.
damage.
I would like to ask you a question about that
Elkin's stoppage for me was late. You remember Elkins?
Yeah.
And
He
Erosa.
took too much
He
damage.
fought Erosa.
That's the
in
first
prelims. Yeah, in the prelims. That was a deadly ass late stoppage. Danige and Sean Woodson was an early stoppage.
Let me ask.
in my
Can I ask you a
opinion.
question
Yeah.
about that fight? Now, the first question: did Ige? Maybe we'll see the tape. Did Ige hit the back of the head of Sean? I don't think he did.
The back of his head.
Yeah.
But there was
the
a warning.
referee
There-
kept warning him. Though.
there
Yeah,
was-
he kept
there
on-
was one-
Yes.
Okay. However, the shots that he was giving Sean Woodson and Sean Woodson looking clearly
He stood up
clueless.
now, yes.
He was
No,
stood up.
he
He was
stood
very
up.
clueless.
Everybody agreed that
He
it was
stood
a
up.
late
He
stoppage.
stood up after the ref had separated
No.
them.
He was already standing up when the ref stopped the
So
fight.
do you think he was just taking those shots to buy time?
Not taking. He wasn't playing for something.
No.
But he was he's not
No,
time.
in a fight, you
but
know
he
how
was
much you can
aware.
absorb.
He was
No, yes,
he was
now.
still aware.
No, yeah.
When you stop a fight, you know you
I really want to know what you think.
the referees
Yeah.
the referees look at a couple of things.
Yes.
The hand,
Yeah.
the head dangling. They call it pendulum.
Yeah.
Okay.
When your head starts swinging like pendulum, even if they're not seeing your eyes, if they're seeing your eyes, it's something else.
Yeah.
But if you're not seeing your eyes, and your head keeps swinging like a pendulum. But the Danige and Sean Woodson, while Danige was striking the side of his head, you could see Sean Woodson pressing against the canvas and was coming up.
Yeah,
when
the
he stopped,
moment,
and
yeah, the
when
moment
he
he
stood
stopped,
up,
he was
was like,
coming up.
I'll go back to watch
The
that.
moment
he-
he was standing up. the moment.
This he said it was a late stoppage. Joe Rogan, they were
No,
comparing
this
stoppages.
said it was early.
It was an early stoppage, rather.
This
This
said-
said it was an early stoppage. Joe Rogan admitted that it was a early stoppage. John Anik too, who doesn't like putting himself in controversies or stoppages and all, agreed that wow, that was kind of.
Yeah.
So, but you cannot stop. You can't take all these away from the fight card last night. Like he performed excellently well, right, Abby?
Yeah.
And the UFC just keep upping their game. We're not going to be having a fight till upper week when we have our Gary and Practice.
It's not be on call.
No, we be upper week. That's on the 26th.
Predictions before that time. I'm just curious again.
Yeah.
Ian Gary practice.
I feel he's going to take his undefeated streak. He's going
Yeah,
practice.
Yeah.
He has
Take his own.
He knows what he's doing. Him fighting all these undefeated fighters.
Yeah.
He's trying to create a niche
Is it
for himself.
practice?
That
Taking
okay,
the own.
no, Gary.
Gary.
That now you guys are taking my own now.
So
Okay,
now
let
take your own.
me start taking people's own.
And that's dangerous.
Yes.
That's dangerous.
Practice.
Because he can get 3 losses, 2
Yeah,
losses.
he's just good.
Yeah,
for the
Practice
tackling.
is a good fighter, but there's some of his fighters saying that he's lost rounds before his power carries him off, and I feel Gary is just going to dance around
and
him.
it's hard to. He knows how to manage
Yes,
the distance.
Gary is just going to dance around him. And guys, thank you so much for coming as usual. Thank you for always acting to our request when we want to talk about fights here. And
Do you want to win this belt? Oh yeah, continue watching. We'll tell you.
yes, so please go, guys.
What's this brother saying? This is my belt.
Who give him?
I'm the undisputed champion,
Who
brother.
gave you?
No, the viewers are on the undisputed champions.
Yes, you were the champion. You were the champion.
You are the champion. Guys, thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments, and we are grateful. Please, when you watch, please kindly subscribe. I know you guys watch, but hit the subscribe button
And share it to your friend.
And share it, yes. And
Share,
it to
let
your
them
friends.
watch. Follow. You see, it's always great to
Rep
talk
if
about
this
fights
fight
to your
is
friends.
Yes, it means a lot. And you know, as we say, the show is for the casuals. If you know you're a fight fan, even like around, just come to the studio. Let's talk about fights.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it's
going to
just
bring my
very
guys.
great.
I'm bringing them more and more and more.
You can be adding them to the group now.
Yeah, sure.
You're an admin on the group now.
No, but we'll sort
Yeah,
that out.
we do make you guys an admin. Whenever you have friends, you can see we have a lot of admins. Like, just add at your will
Okay.
to the group. Guys, thank you. It's a wrap, yo.
Welcome to the casual experience.